Hey everyone, in this video I will showcase a time-lapse video on how to get to the State Fair using the Metro B line, bridging from the Orange line to the A line. It has been 6 months since the 2025 State Fair season has come to an end, and we have 6 months left until the 2026 season begins. So let's get started. First and foremost, you all know what to do, is paying before you board, like using the ticket vending machines or the go-to readers at Metro stations. However, in this case, your point A is any station of the Orange line, and your point B is the Minnesota State Fair using the Metro A line. And your link bridge connection is the Metro B line. Now with a paid bus fare or a go-to card already scanned and validated, we will begin our trip at the I-35W and 46th Street station. From the station, we'll be taking a northbound downtown Minneapolis bus to I-35W and Lake Street Station. During the Minnesota State Fair, the Metro Orange line uses the A-Line's fleet of Gillig BRT Plus buses. These are the only models that use 2 doors, so you can board through any of the 2 doors. And just like that, just ride the Metro Orange line until you reach the I-35W and Lake Street Station. In this case, it's just a quick ride. Make sure you request the stop before you arrive. I just love the wide doors of those BRT Plus buses. Lake Street and Marshall Avenue is your big bridge to get to the Metro A line. At the station, take the elevator stairwell down 1 level to reach the eastbound B line buses. The B line station is a bit different because it's the same name except they're switched around, which is why it's called the Lake Street and I-35W station. Once the eastbound B line bus comes to a complete stop, board through any of the 3 doors. Now that we're on the eastbound B line bus towards Union Depot, the station that we're going to get off at is the Snelling and Dayton station. It's going to be a long ride, so bear with me here. Here's the old Sears Midtown Tower shining. Given the partly cloudy skies that happened that day, I had no idea that the sun was going to do that. Using time-lapse just makes it look like as if it was a cartoon. Anyways, here we are at Lake Street. Here are all the interesting sights that there are. Every time I go through Lake Street, it just brings back childhood memories. I grew up in Minneapolis almost all my life. A lot has changed over the years. Now that we're making a station stop at Cedar Avenue, here's the cemetery. We're now arriving at the Blue Line's Lake Street Midtown station, which is another way to get to the Metro A line, but in this case, it's the B line. Oh, and look at this. Brand new bus alert. That same day I was making this time-lapse, even though it was the first day of the State Fair in 2025, came the debut of the Gillig Low Floor Plus buses, known as the Beluga buses. I'll be doing a descriptive video on these buses real soon on my channel. Stay tuned. Anyways, let's get back on the road. As you can see, we're already arriving on the eastern end of Lake Street. In that area of Lake Street, there are neighborhood shops and restaurants to choose from. These are the shops and restaurants that lead up to the Riverview area of the Twin Cities. What I like about the Metro B line is the bus-only lanes that are close to the parking spaces on Lake Street. Unlike numerous other bus rapid transit lines, that's the whole reason why it's called arterial bus rapid transit. And here we are crossing the Mississippi River, which Lake Street in Minneapolis turns into Marshall Avenue in St. Paul. And here's the golf course and the nicer houses in St. Paul. Here on Marshall Avenue is a mix of houses and apartment buildings, as well as gas stations and small businesses, including auto shops for cars. Here we are arriving at the Marshall and Fairview station, which is served by a library. One thing in common that the green A and B lines have is that they all have a Fairview station. We have now arrived at the Snelling and Dayton station. This is your transfer connection to the Metro A line. Cross the street at the marked crosswalk to reach the northbound, westbound platform of the station. We will take the A line to Rosedale, not the B line to Uptown. The A line to Rosedale is a northbound bus, and that will be the last bus to get to the Minnesota State Fair. During the Minnesota State Fair, the Metro A line uses the Orange Line's fleet of New Flyer XD60s due to high capacity of fairgoers. Throughout this time, you can board through any of the 3 doors, just like you would on the other Metro lines. And once you take your seat, it'll be worth a few minutes of a ride to get to the Minnesota State Fair. The first station we're approaching to is the Snellingen University Station, which is a transfer connection to the Metro Green Line, and it connects to Allianz Field. Here we are passing through St. Paul's Midway area on Snelling Avenue. Of course, a lot of things have changed in St. Paul's Midway area. There's no Walmart, there's no CVS Pharmacy anymore, Herberger's closed in 2018, TJ Maxx closed, and the McDonald's on Snellingen University got demolished. As you can see, we crossed above the train tracks that are near the Minnesota State Fair. And during the State Fair, the Snelling and Como station is closed. That way, passenger drop-off can happen in front of the fair. With this time-lapse, it proves how traffic is slow when we get to the fair. Normally, there's a security guard guiding the traffic. Once the A-line stops at the State Fair drop-off station, you have now arrived at the Minnesota State Fair. If you've made it this far and did everything correctly, then congratulations. You have arrived at the one place in Minnesota known as the Great Minnesota Get-Together, the Minnesota State Fair. Go and have some fun and enjoy the corn dogs and cheese curds and lemonade, as well as corn on the cob, the rides, and other fun attractions that make the Minnesota State Fair a fun place. And the Minnesota State Fair wouldn't be complete without the delicious Sweet Martha cookies. And now that you've had all that fun, let's go back home. I didn't actually enter the fair when I was doing this time-lapse. However, I did catch some old transit buses that many transit agencies used to own, like this Gillick Phantom that Metro Transit used to own. Now, to go back the way we came from, we will go to the Snelling and Como station. Even though their northbound platform is closed during the State Fair season, the southbound platform is the one that's remained open. At the Snelling and Como station, we will take a southbound A-Line 46th Street station bus to Snelling and Dayton station, the station where we connect with the Metro B line, just like we did to get to the Minnesota State Fair in the first place, going from B to A. Just want to give a quick side note that pretty soon, in like 2 years or so, the State Fair will be flooded by Metro with the Metro H line over here. Just wanted to mention that. More on the Metro H line in the future. A brand new 2025. Interestingly, the A-line bus I took on the way back was one of the brand new expansion buses, 8226. And here's my reaction. Brand new. Now that you've taken your seats, enjoy the next few minutes worth of ride back to Snelling and Dayton station. I mean, what can I say? It's all worth seeing some of the destinations in St. Paul, like Hamline University, the gas stations, and a lot of shops and restaurants along the way. I mean, I don't have really much to say. It's just St. Paul's Midway area. What else? I mean, here's Snelling University, where it connects with the Allianz Field and the Green Line. Anyways, the next stop after that is Snelling and Dayton Station, where we connect with the Metro B line. And here's something you all need to know. Another side note, that right here is where the future Gold Line extension will be. Another easy way to get to the Minnesota State Fair in the future years. That's all I wanted to say. More on the Metro Gold Line's extension in the future. It's honestly cool because it'll connect with the A, B, and Green lines. Anyways, here we are at Snelling and Dayton Station. Since the Metro A line uses the XD60s during the State Fair season, please look at the exterior destination signs. You don't want to end up on the wrong bus when you're going to or from the fair. From here, cross the same marked crosswalk to get to the northbound westbound platform of the Snelling and Dayton station. From the station, you would want to take the Metro B line to Uptown, not the A line to Rosedale. And it's easy to tell because the B line buses make a turn from Selby Avenue to get to Snelling Avenue. Then it makes its station stop at Snelling and Dayton and turns on Marshall Avenue. Anyways, here's the B line bus to board to get back to I-35W. I forgot to mention that when you're going westbound, the B line buses will say Lake in France. When B line buses say Lake in France, that's the bus you'd want to take to get back to Lake Street and I-35W station to transfer to the Metro Orange line. Anyways, here's Marshall Avenue, where they have all these apartment buildings and nicer houses, and the shops and restaurants. And of course the gas stations and a bunch of other stuff that we've seen earlier on the way to the State Fair. And here's the Mississippi River again, where Marshall Avenue in St. Paul becomes Lake Street in Minneapolis. Again, this is the eastern part of Lake Street, where they have the nicer neighborhood shops and restaurants. I don't know if any of you guys feel this, but for me personally, is that whenever I feel like I'm going back from somewhere, it just feels much quicker. It's probably because I'm going back the same way I got to the place and not the other way around. Anyways, here's the Midtown area of Lake Street. Which again, this area of Lake Street brings back childhood because of the local businesses and restaurants along the way. Fun fact, do any of you know that the faster version of the old Route 21 used to be the Route 53? Well, if you know it, it's true. And come to think of it, a lot of the station stops that the Metro B line is doing kind of reminds me of what the Route 53 used to do. And now that the B line has made its station stop at 4th Avenue, we are about to get close to the station where we transfer to the Metro Orange line, the Lake Street and I-35W station. Enter the elevator and stairwell building to reach the Orange Line buses. Looking at these two stairwells, I'm sure you know which buses take you to Burnsville, right? If you guessed it correctly, it's the southbound I-35W buses. From the first floor, use the elevator or stairwell northwest of this building to take a southbound Burnsville bus to I-35W and 46th Street station. And again, these are the Gillig BRT Plus buses because the original rolling stock of the Orange Line's fleet is on the A line, where we were earlier. Again, this is just a quick ride between Lake Street and 46th Street. Along I-35W, you'll even see Stayfair Express buses coming from Bloomington, which normally they use Highway 62, I-35W, and I-94 to get to the fair. Anyways, here's that wide door again. And here we are, back from where we started. And here's the Orange Line bus on its way to Burnsville. Here's some things you need to know for the 2026 State Fair season coming soon. Since the opening of the Metro E line, the Metro network since then has been expanded. For example, if you live along the E line, you can use the E line to get to Uptown to transfer to the Metro B line to get to Snelling and Dayton and on your way to the fair using the A line. Then there's the good old Red Line, in which of course if you live along Eagan or Apple Valley, you can use the Red Line to go to the Mall of America to transfer to the Metro Blue Line, and at 46th Street to transfer to the A line on your way to the fair as well. Another option is that if you live at any of the cities along the East Metro, which are cities like Woodbury, Maplewood, Oakdale, and Landfall, you can take the Metro Gold Line from any of those cities to downtown St. Paul and transfer to the Metro B line to get to Snelling and Dayton to transfer to the Metro A line to the State Fair. However, in 2027, when the Green Line extension opens, you'll see that the Southwest Transit Station will be the perfect park and ride for fairgoers to have a one-seat ride from Southwest Station in Eden Prairie to Snelling Avenue in St. Paul to catch the A line on the way to the State Fair. There's a bright future for the Metro network, and with the more Metro lines that we have in the coming years, I could assure you there'll be lots of different ways to get to the Minnesota State Fair, as well as some other favorite destinations around the Twin Cities. I hope this time-lapse video helps you in a way to get an idea on how to get to the State Fair without using a car. And if you live along the Orange Line, which is Burnsville, Bloomington, and Richfield, I hope this video helps you for the 2026 State Fair season. I hope you enjoyed the time-lapse. I'll see you soon. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. As you know, the fun doesn't stop here. And if you want to continue the fun, click on these videos that relate to the same topic. And also, don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell for more updates on this channel. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.